is that noise? Always gotta get this started, and I'm always having like a couple of things going on. You would think like this gets easier as you go, and instead, um, it's always something going on when it comes to technology, and you're like, yo, like, did I even get this thing going? It's saying I need to close applications, but I feel like I have everything closed. Anyway, what's up, family? What's up, soul family? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is always a pleasure to be here in Connessione, sharing with you guys um, just different things. And so this week, my name is Taisha Karuna Anahatama'ad. Um, and this week, I'm bringing you guys Animal Ego Higher Self Education because it's really important, especially as facilitators, that we're in pocket. And by in pocket, how are we maintaining our self agency? How are we supporting ourselves? How are we supporting our clients? And what tools do we have? And so, Animal Ego Higher Self Education um, is so needed right now. I'm like always, hold up. Okay, because I couldn't see the comments. I'm like always kind of in so many dimensions before I come on here because I pour so much into myself, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, how do I integrate all this stuff, and where is this gonna go? So I'm gonna go a couple different places today, but so as we're taking, because everyone's feeling this energy shift is for real. For some of us, it is feeling very empowering, and it feels like it's just time, right? And then for some of us, it's not that feeling. And what I've been really feeling, and Spirit has been pouring into me, is that um, so many went through what they needed to go through in the old energy so that now that we are shifting so actively and heavily in the new energy, the veil is thinner. How to be of assistance to others while this is happening. And with the veil being thinner, there's so much other stuff like taking our galactic footprint in the multiverse, right? And what is that gonna look like? And being open to the fact that is being multidimensional is not going to be about getting on a rocket ship. It's really going to be about tying our consciousness into the consciousness of that which we want to experience. And so, with Animal Ego Higher Self Education, it's really a way to help understand yourself on a multidimensional level so that as these more multidimensional experiences come in, you're attuned to that, and you can discern where you are at any given time. You can shift. You can actually shift. You can quantum jump. You can shift your reality. So I love Animal Ego Higher Self Education. Another reason that I wanted to bring Animal Ego Higher Self today is because we all relate to each other. We all have relationships. We all talk to people, our families, our partners, everybody. And so it's very, very important that we have tools in order to communicate with each other. I know back when I was about 20 years old, I had my daughter and I was going to therapy. I was going to therapy every Friday. Hold on, y'all, want some tea. I was going to therapy every Friday and taking myself to the movies. But when I was going to therapy, amazing woman Amelie, she wasn't even speaking much, but I was speaking a lot. And during it, I had come to just so much gratitude. I was like, yo, like, I'm so grateful that my parents didn't raise me. I'm so grateful that this happened. I'm so grateful that I had this experience. And Oh my God, so much stuff is popping up. I came to this place of gratitude that if I try to explain it to other people, I would just sound really crazy. So I was like, how do I like not only how do I express to somebody, yo, this is how you come to gratitude around anything, but also how do I hold that space for another person for them to come to the same realization? And back in 2020, I found like my friends were sending me Kenya K. Stevens profile up level, and I just loved her. They were like, "Yo, this is you, Ty. Like, this is you when you get older." And I just loved her. I love her. I love her still. Like, she's one of my favorite mentors on the planet. I love her. Live for her. So amazing, Kenya K. Stevens. But she actually had a system. She had tools that she created so that people can come to gratitude about anything. And so I like dove head in at Progressive Love Academy on okay, what is how do I like how do I create a space where people can come to the profound realizations that I've come to? And bam. So it all starts with animal ego, higher self education. It actually starts with the tenets, the progressive love tenets, because if you can't really get down with the tenets, it's going to be difficult to really implement the systems, even though I'm an experimenter. So I'm all about fuck around and find out, play. Like, let's try it. I'll try anything. And because I'll try anything, I get to experience profound growth because I'm not scared to try nothing. Psyche, I tried it in the parking lot. Up level, I tried it. Right, even when it was really hard, I tried. Cause I'm gonna talk to y'all. I'm gonna give y'all the tenets, and y'all gonna say, "Oh yeah, I would have to try that." Like seriously. So the first tenet is that I create my life. I create my life. I create my life. That's the first tenet, and I'll dig more into it as I go. But that's the first tenet. The second tenet is no shame, no blame. So nobody is doing anything wrong, and that's hard to get with because people are doing things, right? People are doing things, and you feeling like they did this, but people just show us and give us the opportunity to address ourselves, to address our beliefs, to address how we are consciously creating and how we're being moved, how are we being shaped. So no shame, no blame. So when something happens, you know what? You didn't do anything wrong. There's no shame, no blame here. You are having your experience, I'm having my experience. And all experiences serve to grow me, but that's coming. So then there's no victims, no villains, right? So again, this is back with the premise. Yo, I don't know what's going on here. What's up, Dewan? My bad, y'all. I can't see the comments because the way I got this streaming. But anyway, I should have got on my phone. But anyway, so no shame, no blame, no victims, no villains. I'm not a victim. You're not a villain. Again, you show me aspects of myself. You show me aspects of my belief. And again, these is hard tenets to get with. But I'm going to show you how to get there. I'm going to show you how to get there. So no victims, no villains, no shame, no blames, no cop-outs, no dropouts. I know that ultimately I can't cop out on myself, and any attempt to disconnect is an attempt to disconnect with aspects of myself that I'm not willing to or ready yet to address. So no victims, no villains, no cop-outs, no dropouts. I create my life. Everything serves to grow me. The purpose of everything is growth. The benefit is love, and love is innately who we are. So I say the remembrance is love, right? I get to remember who I am via another vessel. So those are the tenets. So we can get into this animal ego higher self education. Those are the tenets, and eventually you'll get to those. And a lot of us probably already got there, but those who have not, or your clients, those are some tenets that when we are communicating with another, that is when those tenets are important because that's how we create a container for another person not to take something personal. For instance, right, because I use this with my daughter. I used to be a yeller, right? And when I learned animal ego higher self education, I'm like, ooh, okay. Right now, Amaya said no. I'm really triggered that Amaya said no. Why am I triggered? Because I was taught that children should not say no. And I ultimately grew up being a yes person, so I suppress my ability to say no. Not anymore, but not no more, because now you getting a no from me. But so now when I'm communicating with Amaya, my frustration, I'm like, you know what, this is my ego speaking. You haven't done nothing wrong. Like, you're just showing me, number one, I suppressed this thing. And I talked about that in the Hall of Mirrors, where somebody shows you your potential. You're showing me also my belief. I was taught that children should not say no. And you're also showing me that I would like to say no more. Again, potential. So the container is very important, because that's how you make it easier to communicate with somebody when you know who is speaking. Is this my animal speaking? Is this my higher self speaking? And so, what are the attributes of the animal? What's up? I see I got somebody in here, y'all. So throw some comments in the chat. What are some attributes of your animal self? Let's get into it. So the animal is the emotive feelings. The animal is the expression. The animal is the physical. It's very corporeal. I love that. I love that. I pour a lot into myself, so I love when I listen to certain information. And yeah, the corporeal self, the body, the physical body. That's your animal. This is the vessel. This is the flesh. It's temporary, right? It's going off of flight and fight response. It's going off of reactivity, reaction, right? The animal. Now, what is the ego? Now, the ego, and the reason why I love animal ego higher self education is because in a lot of ways we get this rhetoric that the ego needs to be killed. And although the ultimate goal for some may be to have a very tempered ego, it's a process in order to even integrate one's ego. And that should be the goal ultimately, is to integrate your ego, because your ego is actually the voice of not only your animal but also your higher self. It's funny because I remember my friend we wasn't arguing, but he was saying even though my perspective is such a highly dimensional perspective, he was still saying, it's a perspective. And I wasn't listening, but it's true. Our ego is expressing both our animal and our higher self. So when we're speaking to somebody, are we coming at them with the truth? Because if my animal is speaking, we just said the animal is emotive, reactive. Our animal is our physical vessel. Our animal is our flight and fight. Like, our animal is this physical. Now we have the ego, and the ego is actually the voice of both of those, the animal and the higher self. The ego is also segregative, right? The ego is individualistic, which is not a bad thing, right? Because when I speak about animal, ego, higher self, I'm speaking about let's integrate. We ain't gotta kill the ego. Like, the ego is here for very specific, beautiful reasons. And if we learn how to communicate with it and integrate it, we can have a more fulfilling life where we're not only more in tune with our higher self knowledge, but also in tune with our humanity, right? And in tune with the humanity of others, especially when we're dealing with young people, especially when we're dealing with other people's inner child. It's like, we can't always come from a higher self perspective if we're not allowing another person's animal to integrate. So we got to do that. So the ego, conditioning, perspective, again, the voice. Now, our higher self. What is our higher self? Our higher self is centered. It knows that the one is all, right? Bashar says that there are 5 truths, right? The one is all and the all is one. I am here now. I've always been here now. That's the only place I can ever be. Usually I'm like, but I have so much stuff going on in my head. But basically, the only truths are that everything changes, except that you are here now, that the one is all, that you put in what you get, that what you put in you get back. Yo, I can't even get the fourth, but yo, and then everything outside of that ultimately changes. So we're always creating via our perspective, via what we believe, via, because everything is made up. So our higher self knows that. Our higher self knows that, hey, everything is actually benevolent. I speak a lot about compassion. I'm very compassionate. I'm very forgiving. I'm very understanding. People want to know how I get to that. And really, it's because of my higher self knowing and my higher self experience. My experience of my own higher self allows me to give grace and understanding and forgiveness. Because the way I experience my own animal is with grace, understanding, compassion, and forgiveness. So the higher self knows that all is well. The higher self knows that everything serves to grow us. The higher self knows that I came here in order to remember myself. And so the higher self is going to give us every situation, every whatever, until we are remembering ourselves, and it be steps and it be levels. So animal, ego, higher self. Now, when we are expressing with somebody and we have a grievance or whatever the case may be, imagine coming in and saying, hey, this is my ego speaking for my animal. I'm at a level 10. Can you witness me? Versus, oh, you know what the heck you did? You did this, that, and the third. You see the difference? And so when we're coming in communicating, are we really communicating from a place of a deeper knowing? Now, the reason why I love this education is because it does create the safe space for the animal. So how do we create a safe space for an animal? Number one, you consent to witness it. If your animal is raging, you ask someone if they can hold space for it. Right? If somebody else you see is maybe raging, you ask them if they can create a container, because maybe you can't hold the space in that moment. Animal, ego, higher self education is so important because we are dealing with people on a daily basis. And so just imagine if we can speak to each other a little more tender, we can provide theater, because it goes other places. So actually, before I go there, I want to say how important this is as well, because this is stepping into our, what the Mayan Oracle called men, which is stepping into your planetary mind, stepping into your higher knowing. So anyway, so consent to witness. Can you witness me? This is love, y'all. Consent is love. I always say consent is love, because when you were a child, nobody was asking you for consent before they was like just going in. So consent is love. The next step is creating your container. So now this other person has agreed to witness you. Honestly speaking, I wish Maya, you open to do a demo or you not with it?
I guess I don't know hands.
Well, it's just the top half.
Who's on here?
We just gonna do a quick
You
demo.
on live?
Yeah, we just gonna do a quick demo. Okay, Maya, you wanna be the person venting or the witness?
I guess Lynn, because you know better than me.
Okay. So go ahead.
Wait, who's on here, Mom?
Maya, just come on.
Crazy. I don't have no lashes.
Amaya, it's okay. Nobody's even on here right now. Come on, let's go. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I've been having a hard time at school. Oh, I can't.
We gotta make a container.
Oh.
Well, no, for the purposes of this, you can give me a real vent. So we about to dive in a little bit, y'all. Okay. So you don't ask if I can witness you. Come on, girl.
Can you witness me and set a container for me?
Yes, I can. What level are you at?
A 6.
Okay. Can you create your own container? I create my life, no shame, no blame.
Oh, I create my life, no shame, no blame, no victims, no villains, no right, no wrong. That's it.
Everything serves to grow me.
Everything serves to grow me. This is just my inner animal ego speaking. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Not that.
Yeah, but you gotta speak up so they can hear you.
Sorry, y'all. Like I just had 2 cups of tea. Like my throat really messing with me for real. Oh, for sure. Okay, so basically, my friend, I'm in honors biology, but my friend, she's not. She's in honors algebra, and I'm really bad at algebra. She's really bad at biology, and then so we had a test, and she got a 30 out of 30, and I got a 27 out of 30, and I was like, "What do you mean? Like, what do you mean?" That's it, for real, for real. Actually, I'm at like a 4 because I don't really care about that too much. But that's like a real situation that happened just a few days ago.
Thank you for sharing. How can I support you? That was an event, but that's my ego speaking.
What's all the options? Like I know it's empathy, hug.
I mean, I wish you would have gave a real event so I could really support you. But it's a repeat back, reassurance.
So, cause it's just not really like a for real event. You can just give me a repeat back for real.
Well, what I heard was that you felt some type of way because your friend, she's really good at one subject and you're good at another, and I guess she got a better grade than you on a subject that you're good at. So yeah. I'm hearing that maybe you felt some type of way. Does that support you?
Yeah.
What level are you at?
I'm at a 1 because I didn't really care for real, but it's just like, dang, like how do you get a 30 out of 30 and then I just got a 27 out of 30?
How else can I support you?
Why are you waiting back so far?
So I can see you. You keep walking back.
It's like I'm looking bad on something.
Amaya, come on. It's not about that.
Alright, my fault.
How you gonna consent to help? How else can I support you?
I could be the witness. I know the step. You just showed me the steps.
Amaya, how else can I support you? So that you down to a 0.
I guess just reassurance. You know what I'm saying?
What would you like reassurance of?
I was gonna say that I'm better, but I'm playing, y'all. I'm playing.
I can absolutely reassure you, Amaya, that you are the best of the things you do. I can absolutely reassure you that the more time you put in on something, the more you'll learn and grow from it, and the better you'll be. I can absolutely reassure you that you're only going to get better and better at the things that you love. I can absolutely reassure you of that. Does that support you?
Mm-hmm.
What level are you at?
It's a 0.
All right, thank you.
I love you, friend. I still love you, but you just gotta come on, man. Can't be doing this thing,
Y'all, so actually, you want me? Come here, Mike, so that they can see the container. I supported you, but let's go. I got y'all. Amaya, can you witness me? Can you witness my vent?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm at like a level 4. Nobody is doing anything wrong. It's no shame, no blame, no cop outs, no dropouts. I can't cop out on myself. No victims, no villains. Everything serves to grow me. This week, it was parts of this week where I just felt like really unsure and really afraid because I didn't know like what direction to go in when it comes to like moving and stuff. And for real, like I have more fear than anything because I'm like, darn, like what do I do? What direction do I take? I even went into some lack mindset, which I get like down on myself about when I go through lack mindset. So that was like really tough. And yeah, it was like I broke down crying a couple times even. That's it. That's my vent.
How can I support you?
Could you provide me with some empathy? Have you ever felt like that?
I could give you some empathy. Because you are my mother and I live with you, I'm also scared, you know. I don't cry, but you know, it's always okay to I do be getting for real sad, like for real, like what path is my mother gonna choose for me? But at the end of the day, like it's all good, bro. It's all good. Like I be telling you about how I be feeling about the whole movie situation. You always tell me like everything's gonna be okay. So I'm telling you that everything's gonna be okay because look, everything is okay. We're here now. We're in the moment now, and that's we just gotta keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, thank you, Amaya. That really supports me. That brings me like to a level two. Where you going?
Oh, you said it too.
Yeah, that brings me like to a level two. Can I actually can I get a hug? That would really support me. You can say no.
I got you, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That brings me down to a one. Could I get a But y'all get it.
What you mean?
Basically, she was able to soothe me. She was able to bring me down. And when we know, like, okay, this is my ego speaking. I really just need to come up out of this. For me, I actually probably needed more support. I like open-ended questions. That's a support that you could give. If I would have vented the day I was having those feelings, I would have needed rest. And that's a support that I could say, hey, can I just get some rest? Thank you for witnessing me. And we can do further soothing later. But that is how you can express your ego, and really it can get crazy, and it has gotten crazy, right? Because we going through relationship stuff, we going through stuff where we screaming, cursing, and carrying on. And so is there a true space for that? Like if Amaya needed to vent and she needed to curse and carry on, and I said yes, I'm consenting to witness you, that means giving her the space to allow her animal to rage. Because if we hold these emotions in the body, that becomes dis-ease. We come from like, we talk about the different generations or whatever the case may be, y'all, but I was raised by my great grandmother, and so that was the silent generation, and they raised the boomers who remain silent, and they raised Generation X, who is a little bit teetering the fence. You know what I mean? And then the millennials, we're like, yo, we're getting this shit on. We got to get this out because we cannot continue like this. And so for me, it really is about creating an environment where my daughter's animal feels safe so that she knows how to get support for herself and process things. Because the one thing that I maintain is it does not matter how good of a mother I think I am. It does not matter how good of a parent you think you are. If your child is going to process trauma because they're going to have a depiction of what they wanted the parent to be. And we have not shown up like the perfect parent at the end of the day. Like me and my daughter going through moving because of me having a breakup, right? So even if I'm in the most positive mindset and she's not messed up and all this stuff, it's still going to be something she's going to have to process, especially because she went through it between the ages of 0 and 14, being displaced. So that may show up in her future as insecurity of instability, or even fear of trusting fellas, right? So since the traumas are gonna happen, even if we don't want, we could try to do all the protections in the world. Things are gonna happen because we have a depiction of how something should go. And when it does not go that way, when we cannot control, how do we express those hard things? And so for me, it's about creating that space for the animal through and through. It's space for authenticity. I've had events where I've had to really process being a, you would have thought the vent was about being a mother, but when I listen to the vent back, it's about being self-sacrificial. It's about always being an overgiver. It was about being inauthentic. It was all these things that be packed in our vents. Earlier when I was venting or whatever, I did speak more about the situation. I didn't speak about the person, but my original event may have been about the person. But by getting that out, I get away from the person because the person's not doing anything. The person is just showing me what I believe, which was I had some fear, I had some lack mindset, I had some things that were like, oh shit, holy shit, I gotta get up and shimmy and shake. But because I did have people that held the space for my animal, even myself, because like I said, I'll record myself venting because that's the only way to pull out the triggers. Is to, you know what I mean? So having that space for that animal to really be soothed. And then here comes the emotional intelligence, is knowing what you need. Now I cannot blame you, because sometimes we get on the phone with somebody and we want them to hold space for us. We don't know what we want, and now they're giving us feedback, they're giving us advice, and we really don't want that. So up level is a system where you can say, you know what, I want empathy. I don't want to hear nothing but empathy right now. I want a hug right now. I don't want your reassurance right now. You know, people that have been unheard or misunderstood their whole life, or they want to repeat back, because that supports the inner child that was not heard. And once we know how to ask for what it is we didn't get as a child, we then become the parent to ourselves. And now I get to tie it back, because when you get to parent yourself, you get to start creating and playing on another level. You get to graduate and ascend on another level. When you get to graduate and ascend on another level, you get to take your seat in planetary evolution. You already seated because you're here. But now you start to play on a conscious field. You start to play on a field that says, yo, I'm always creating my life. How do I do this? How do I get this thing moving? How do I get to experience another reality? And so that is by integrating your ego, letting that come up. Because suppression is constipation. Suppression is constipation. All day long you eating food, that means you're going to poop into the night, correct? Or several times a day if you're doing what you're really doing. If you're eating what you're supposed to eat, fiber, protein, on the stuff, then you pooping several times a day. So when you get those things coming in life, communications, people, you out all day, you working, your kids, everything happening to you in life, you gotta poop. You have to get it out. You gotta vent it out. It's nothing wrong with that. A lot of times, especially in the spiritual community, Lord Jesus, in the spiritual community, we like to get to this place of like, oh, it didn't affect me. And then you got a cyst, or you got bad acne, or your skin is bubbling up and you wondering why. You got a boil, but you're boiling over with rage because you want to be so, oh, it didn't affect me. When no, like, the situation happened, I cried, I let it out, I ooh to the skies and the moons, because also we getting intelligence from our emotions. We're experiencing signals and communication that allow us to download the wisdom that we need to move forward in life and be who we're supposed to be. So we have to allow that wisdom to come through. We cannot suppress it. We cannot. We have to integrate. And that's about having that intelligence. And I think his name is Philip Attar or Philip Astar or something like that. I love him because he talks about what he's witnessing from the feminine on the planet right now. And 555 on my thing with 3255, what he's witnessing from the feminine on the planet right now is that the divine feminine that's really tapped in is really holding so much space for herself and others, that as a divine, anybody coming in, are you able to hold that space for her? Are you able to hold that space? And as the feminine, are we creating the spaces in which this type of space can be held? And the funny part about it is, this is what the indigenous did, y'all. This is indigenous practices that we're talking about. Ritual space. Come vent to the village. We are talking about a technology that will survive as we move forward. How do we communicate? This technology is something that we move forward with. There's so much technologies that's changing and being upgraded. Even meditation is an upgrade right now. Prayer is being upgraded right now. But ritual space is going to carry over from the ancient times all the way through, because the animal needs that expression to express out of the body. We also have beings being born. I always talk about this, coming 2027. And they are going to be processing different. They're not going to have our emotional wave. So are we able to temper our own emotional wave for beings that are going to be more evolved? Period. We're not going to think they evolved, or they not talking, or they not this, or they not that. Baby, why they got to speak if they're telepathically communicating? If they're seeing in frequencies? It's us that need to make sure that we're ready for them, to be honest. And so, how are we taking care of ourselves? Let your animal express. Let your ego express. Don't kill the ego. Don't kill the ego. Integrate the ego. Ego, what are you trying to show me? How are you? Because for real, we can't get to the space of gratitude. I think that's why I started off at in the beginning, was about gratitude. How did I come to gratitude about anything? And the only way I had came to that gratitude is because I sat in that Lady Amelie chair and I went balls to the wall, crying, carrying on about how my parents didn't raise me and all this other stuff. And once I was emptied out as a vessel, once I was exhausted, my animal was exhausted of telling the story. My animal was exhausted of living in the my parents didn't raise me. My animal was exhausted. My animal was exhausted talking about abuses. That's when I was like, yo, I'm so grateful, because all I want, like me, I love helping people. Now I know it's my right angle cross of service, but I love helping people. And so I was like, damn, I'm grateful for all the shit I've been through. I'm so grateful for these things that I've been through, because these things set the stage for my service. These things set the stage in order for me to assist others. I wouldn't be able to talk about, be about, do anything I've ever made my life about, even to this point, without the so-called blessings, the lessons that I learned via the way. My parents not raising me, my great-grandmother was the perfect situation. I got exactly what I needed. I learned so much. I learned exponentially so much on how to even be of selfless service. And that served me to a point, right? But then we get to a point where that is no longer serving, and then we evolve to the next step. But the communication has to come from our ego. Taisha, this selfless service ain't serving no more, because your ego feel burnt out. You feel some compassion fatigue. You feel this, that, and the third. Okay, now Spirit wants you to integrate some knowledge. Spirit wants you to see how to take care of yourself. Spirit wants you to see XYZ. We use the knowledge of the ego. We integrate it, y'all. We move forward. This is how we continue to evolve on the planet. This is how we continue to evolve on the planet. Exhaust y'all animals, y'all. Get that shit out the body. Get it out the body. Let it go. Let it all out. Let your people hold you. And don't even try to move to gratitude until you've exhausted it. Do not let something happen to you right now and then in 5 seconds, I'm grateful. Scream first. When like dogs play fight and shake. Y'all got dogs? Y'all know dogs will play fight and shake. So actually, this beautiful sister Sam has spoke about this at the Cornerstone event. But our tremor response is we ain't tremoring, right? If something happened to you, discharge. Get it out. Scream fuck. Let it, you know what I mean? Don't bypass it. But then allow that knowledge to move you forward. Like, this is how we move forward. And this is how we hold space for each other. And this is how we move forward as a collective. Why are we so scared of animal? Why are we so scared of ego? This is full spectrum. You are a God being. That means you are experiencing all of yourself all the time. Everybody want to say they don't want to come back here. Everybody say they don't want to come back here. When simply we're in the energy of you can graduate this energy. And so how do you do that? It's all about integration. It's all about being able to have space for humanity and divinity. One cannot come to compassion if we are not having space for humanity and divinity. You are both things. You are a seated being. The beings that was here before us did not exist as we exist. Science knows that. We know that deeply. Our religious texts even know that from the things that was pulled from them. We are a seated being. So we are human and divine. We are consciously creating. We are seeded from races that have ascended these lessons. So how do we get to the graduation stage? And it's about integration. It is about integration. It is about integration. It is about walking your embodiment into the light. It is about integration. It is about understanding when concepts evolve and change. And what I mean by that is being okay with the evolution of information. The grid itself actively evolves as we evolve consciousness. So things that were correct and true for so long, yes, they were. And now things are changing and being open to that and knowing that it's not no new age woo woo. It's the truth when it comes to how we evolve. And so integration is imperative. And integration is also imperative because if we're taking our galactic seat, we cannot be fighting amongst the race over trivial things that we've been come to show are always interchangeable, always changing, always different. Perspective is always evolving. Consciousness itself evolves through its experience of itself. That's what it does. It becomes you, it becomes me, it becomes tree, it becomes he. And as soon as the tree becomes the largest tree out of its whole lineage, consciousness then evolves again to experience being now wider trees and all these, like, consciousness is constantly evolving. So we got to be open to that. So the way in which we communicate, we got to be open to that. It's going to be times where you're not even going to need to state this is your ego speaking, because people will be able to just see and know. But at these times right now, we're not at that. So how do we hold space for people, and how do people hold space for us? 4141. And that's through the changes, and that's through the changes of how we communicate, how we speak. So when y'all going through stuff, animal, ego, higher self, who is speaking, creating a container. Hey, this isn't personal. You aren't doing anything wrong. You know what I mean? And I even give y'all a even further little step. The soothings that we were asking for within the demo is called restore. So you can ask for a repeat back. I told you that's for people that the inner child, you felt unheard. Nobody, he don't listen, Taisha. He don't listen. Yo, can you hold space for me? Okay, can you a repeat back would be really soothing because I need to be feeling heard. Reassurance. That's for people that may have had worry or may have had, experiences as a child of homelessness, different things. Reassurance is very helpful. Reassurance is very helpful. And with reassurance, you can ask for it in a way in which you would like to ask for it. I'm giving y'all straight, I ain't going to even hold y'all because when I get through the list, I'm giving y'all gems right now, straight up gems. And this is not all of up level. This is just a very small piece. But reassurance is very helpful for those who need security and stability, and they need to know that everything is going to be okay. Maybe nobody never told them that everything is going to be okay. Empathy is for the people who, do you even know how I feel? Now, a lot of us be wanting to give empathy, and we start telling our story before the person even asks for empathy. Let the people ask for what they need. Let them come to the emotional intelligence. Now, like, if a person say, I don't even know how none of this shit gonna work. Well, can I offer you some empathy? And then think on that. Can they offer you some empathy? Or you gonna get mad because they start telling their story? Be for real, okay? Restore. So empathy. The next one is a simulation. I love this because this is where we can provide theater. Hey, you know what? Can you act like my mom and rock me like a baby and kiss me on my forehead? I love simulation. It sounds funny as hell in the beginning, y'all. But when we're triggered, we come in from an 8-year-old, 5-year-old, 9-year-old, 11-year-old perspective. We coming from a child perspective. So provide theater for somebody else's child and ask for the theater for your child. I will ask for simulation all day. Can you act goofy? Can you do this? Can you do that? People ask me to be their father. I'll be like, yo, baby girl, I love you so much. Because why not? Okay, restore. This is restoring somebody's inner child. This is the seven soothe. This is not even seven no more. This is nine soothings. You can ask for stimulation. You can ask for touch. I wanted a hug. I wanted to be soothed by a hug. A hug soothed me. You know what I mean? Touch. Open-ended questions. Open-ended questions are beautiful. I'm a projector, so I love diving deep. I love diving deep. If you're with a client and they're having a mother wound and they say, hey, can you ask me an open-ended question? One of my favorite questions is to ask, what is your mother's relationship with her mother? What is your mother's relationship with her mother, with your grandmother? Oh, they never got along, but you love your grandmother to death. But you ain't never seen how, you know, your mother and her mother have the same issues you and your mother have. Open-ended questions bring people to clarity. I love open-ended questions. They hard though in the beginning. I ain't gonna lie for some people. But I love open-ended questions. The next thing, again, because I may restore with non-energetics in mind, you can ask for rest. You done exhausted, you done vented. Thank you for sharing. How can I support you? Actually, like I'm really exhausted now. Can I just get like an hour nap and we come back to this? You can ask for rest. You can ask for rest. And then last but not least, E, right? Restore with two R's in the front. E is you can ask for empowerment. Yo, can you just lift me up right now? Can you just pour into me right now? Can you just pour into me right now? And I love that because as a projector, I see deeply. So if you're coming to me for anything, you're inviting me to give you your oracle. You're inviting me to give you your prophecy. So it's no way that I'm not going to see the highest of the high for you. Have the 1858 as my only channel. And so when what I see as correction is seeing what the embodiment can be once it has tuned into the self fully. And so the soothings restore. These are the soothings that you can offer somebody. What's up, Donnie? These are the soothings that you can offer somebody when they are going through an event. These are the soothings that you can ask for when you are going through an event. Listen, and if y'all want more information on facilitating an up-level event and what comes after that, because there's things that does come after that, right? Venting and soothing is only half the battle. Okay, it's only a piece of it. It's a very important because don't go try to how you gonna try to poop and the stuff is still in your stomach. It ain't even hit the colon yet. You gotta make sure that you are digesting. You gotta make sure that you are, you know what I mean, and then go process that poop. Okay? Before you flush it down the toilet, are you examining it, making sure it's healthy? Okay? That's what you're doing. When you vent and soothe, you are getting that poop out. But when you process, you're examining, is this shit okay? Out of everything I said, am I okay? What did I express during my vent? What did I say? What was some things that I heard? Right? So again, when I'm saying, oh my God, like I'm the only one doing everything, like I'm the single mother, la la la. What I'm really that shit is just that's the shit. But the fucking color and shit is the fucking what is being said. Like what is actually being said when you are venting about being a single mom. You was taught self-sacrifice. You was taught XYZ. You don't put yourself first. You're burnt out. You da 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 da. You can't cop out and drop out on yourself. These are the things that come out. Message, my phone ringing. These are the things that come out of the vent, and this is why it's so important. Got to get that shit out, y'all. And so once that happens, then you can move into processing. And actually, if you pay attention to me like you should, I actually did a processing video in here like a month ago. So if you actually go back and watch that, you'll know how to move yourself from your vent into your processing. Okay, like once you've exhausted your animal, you're like, yo, how do I come to gratitude about this? It's actually in that video, the Hall of Mirrors that's uploaded on Connessione. So I love y'all to death. Y'all know I'm here for it. Y'all know I'm here to just love y'all and pour y'all. pour into y'all. Facebook, Taisha Simpson. Instagram, Karuna A Maat. So KARUNA And then also make sure that y'all follow the Healing Chamber. Yes, yes. Make sure y'all follow the Healing Chamber. We are live and up and running and popping over in Tempe. So if you are looking for a space to just come and be poured into, we have so many different things. We have salt therapy, we have aromatherapy, we have bioresonance, we have the Sarah, we have meditation, we have yoga, we have herbal teas, we have holistic skincare. I mean, just beautiful. We have psyche, we have human design, we have up level. I mean, it's just a full service, the journey to yourself, the journey within, you know. And so, yeah, and then for facilitators, if anybody wants to learn anything for their clients on, ways of holding space, ways of creating a ritualistic space for their clients. Because let me tell you something, these things that I've said, they're not easy. It's not easy to, especially when you're going through something, to be like, this is my ego. It's like, no, motherfucker, you did this. This not my ego speaking. Like, I see you do that. It's not easy to get there. So it's really like a muscle, and so it takes support. It takes really working it out. We go to the gym, we don't have the body that we want in one day. We gotta work at it. And so that's the same thing with our emotional intelligence and with creating support for ourselves, is that we have to work at this stuff every day. We have to work at this stuff every day. It's not a day that goes by where we're not gonna have to integrate a little bit. I was actually talking about how the certain things that have been the same way for a long time are evolving, like prayer and meditation. And with meditation, we have this belief of the longer the better, but the veil is damn near non-existent. So that means that our connection to spirit is bam. And so you got other stuff to do. So don't judge yourself if you're not a person that's meditating for and sitting for hours, especially with the way the veil is right now. Spirit says do your 5-10 minutes, and then we also need you to pray. We also need you in action. We need you in balance. So bam, hit the meditation. Listen, reframe what you believe about meditation. 522577. Reframe what you believe about meditation. Walking is meditation. Doing your dishes is meditation. This is mindfulness practices, y'all. You could sit there and play me for an hour and be in a trance. But seriously though, like, what takes you to your trance space? It does not have to be, we don't have to be silently meditating. What takes you to the zone? I don't know if y'all seen the movie Soul for the young kids. I loved it. What takes you to the zone? What takes you to the zone? And just get into it. It could be dancing. You know what I mean? It could be cleaning a house. I used to always say, I built furniture for 10 years. I always said, oh, I love building furniture because it puts me into a meditative state. So what is your meditative state? And put yourself in there. Put yourself into that. But anyway, I love y'all. I love y'all down. Peace.